Yo, what's up guys? Teacher Paul over here, and today we are reacting to KGF. KGF. Yes. It's been a while. Almost 1 month since we haven't talked about KGF. So today we are the chat is going crazy for KGF, and you should too. Guys, KGF is still hyped. The hype has not fallen, and my love for KGF has not fallen either. I am still very much in love with KGF. In fact, this video that we're going to react to today is a video that this is going to be a reaction of reaction. So there's this channel called, what's the name of this channel? Scene Flecked, and apparently this is an American guy who is talking about KGF. So obviously I want to see what these guys are talking about, and I want to see what their opinion is of this, Indian film, which is an amazing Indian film. And I absolutely love that already in his title he says one of India's biggest movies of all time, and I agree. I mean, I agree. Do you guys agree? Yeah. If you agree, say KGF in the chat. Faster. More KGF. More. Let's go. KGF in the chat. We are recording this live, and as you can see, people here are really excited for KGF Chapter 3, and you should be too. So let's go. This is going to be a very interesting video, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's do this.
Call this entrance.
Okay, I need more volume, I think. There we go.
Hey, cinephiles. I call this entrance the kick-axe.
Bro.
This is rocking star Yash in a scene from KGF Chapter 2, the second film in a series that has taken India by storm, becoming the second highest grossing film of all time domestically, surpassing even RRR.
Yash, rocking star Yash.
Welcome back to my journey through Indian cinema, an adventure that began in earnest after I made the fateful decision to see RRR on the big screen, a film that not only blew my mind, but opened my mind to a world of cinema I had been neglecting for far too long.
Bro, that's what happens, when we watch an Indian film, a single Indian film, which is as good as RRR, which is as good as KGF. We are sold. We take all of our previous knowledge and we're like, all eyes on India because you guys know how to make a movie.
I shared my ecstatic reaction in a video where I also asked for more recommendations of Indian films, and by Yash's beard did you all deliver. Thousands of comments have poured in highlighting films and filmmakers that I should check out, and as eager as I am to watch every single one of these, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't also extremely overwhelmed. You see, one does not simply cover Indian cinema. The sheer quantity of films from a multitude of industries, regions, and languages within India that make up the single largest film industry in the world today, atop the bedrock of rich historical and cultural context, has me feeling like an ant in the Library of Congress. Very small, very inadequate, and very likely to get squashed by YouTube comments if I say something wrong. Nevertheless, as someone determined to expand their cinematic horizon, I am pushing forward with an open mind and an open heart, one film at a time, hoping and willing to learn about Indian cinema and the people involved. So where did I decide to go next? Well, if there was any film, or I guess I should say films, that were recommended to me the most, and by that I mean almost every—
Bro, yes, we want a cameo of Teacher Paul in KGF 3. Yes, make that happen. Make that trend and get me in KGF Chapter 3. Just a cameo, just a cameo at the background. Like, just, guys, make it happen.
Every single hour to this day, it would undoubtedly be KGF Chapter 1 and KGF Chapter 2.
Yes. Cheers. Bro, this rain fight scene.
In this video, I'm going to attempt to explain what KGF is all about, examine the allure of rocking star Yash, briefly share my thoughts on both films and my personal viewing experience, and then touch on their cultural impact and future. Okay, so KGF is an epic period action crime film series written and directed by Prashant Neel, who works primarily in the Kannada film industry, aka Sandalwood. There are a lot of moving parts to this story, many names, places, and timelines, and it moves at a mile a minute. But here's my attempt at a brief synopsis. Primarily set in the 1970s and 80s, this is a decade-spanning chronicle of a man known as Rocky and a place known as KGF. That titular acronym refers to the Kolar goldfields, where ore is first discovered on the same night that Rocky is born into poverty to a woman whose dying wish is for him to amass great wealth.
A very well-made video. Oh, it's nice that he used the Kannada version. Credits to him, credits to him.
A powerful crime boss, Suryavardhan, establishes KGF not only as a gold mine town, but as a political cult and the headquarters of his massive criminal empire. As a young man, Rocky proves himself on the streets of Bombay, paving his path to becoming one of the top assassins in the city. Given an opportunity to control all of Bombay if he kills Suryavardhan's son, Rocky finds himself at KGF, where his eyes are open to the human cost of the gold trade, and his pursuit for power and money becomes about so much more. Oh, and along the way he woos Reena, the daughter of a KGF boss.
Congratulations.
Why?
I love you.
Congratulations, I love you. That was used in KGF chapter 2. Whoa, chapter 2.
How dare you?
How fair you.
Okay, that might be the greatest pickup line of all time.
China na ni express train idange. Nin track idange. Ibru serkonbitre chikubuku anta hoyta.
This guy should teach a masterclass in how to talk to women. Now that's...
Bro, that was funny. Chikabuku. Yash is one of the funniest actors, you know. KGF chapter 1 he was funny, KGF chapter 2 he was funny, but at the same time he was menacing. You know, you gotta give him credit for his acting skills. Yash is he's low-key hilarious. You know, you're in the, you know, when he wants to be funny, he's funny. When he wants to be angry, he's angry. Until he goes into berserk mode, which is amazing. You know, this is just awesome.
Just a simple summation of this series, a mere setup and backdrop for an eventful plot that could have easily spanned multiple seasons of a TV show. And I haven't even mentioned how this story is told, which is one of KGF's defining features. In modern Bangalore, the owner of a news channel has convinced his hard-hitting chief editor to interview the author of El Dorado, a book chronicling the legacy of Rocky and KGF, which the Indian government
He's coming back in KGF chapter 3.
From history. This interview serves as a framing device, with the author serving as a narrator throughout the first film. The situation changes for chapter 2, though it still has a similar construct. And it's the
See, the thing is, the story of the narrators, I think that Rocky in the second film, he looked a little bit more like a villain than in chapter 1. And I think the main reason is because the new narrator envisions and sees Rocky as a villain, because he doesn't like the whole idea of his father spending his whole time, his whole life for this story. So I think when he talks about Rocky, he has a little bit of resentment. So that's why Rocky is told in the second movie as you know, as almost as a successor to Garuda, because I think the narrator had a grudge. So he, you know, told the story with a little bit more of a pinch of salt towards Rocky's villainous, if that makes sense. Whereas in the first one, we could see Rocky more as a savior towards the end of the movie, because the narrator, he had a great deal of love for Rocky and his story. and you can see that he even mentioned his youth. So I think that's my theory. I think we see Rocky in a different light because of that, because of the narrator. As soon as the narrator changes, everything changes. Also, the tone of the storytelling.
Decision to tell the story in this manner that gives KGF a peculiar sense of urgency from the very beginning that doesn't ever really let up. I kept expecting the narrative to slow down or give me a chance to catch my breath, but that didn't really happen. More often than not, any given sequence feels like either a montage or a movie trailer. Depending on your appetite, I suppose this could be a pro or a con. Each film is over 2.5 hours long, which is a considerable length of time to maintain such propulsion.
Yeah.
These are films that demand your attention and will overload your senses. It's the opposite of quote-unquote slow cinema.
That's the thing about KGF. It's 2.5 hours long, but the editing is so fast and there's so much information that it could easily make a story of like 5 hours, because there's so much storytelling. The editing is so fast, so many different dialogues, so much information. It's very easy for you to miss a specific detail. You have to watch it many times to understand every single aspect of it.
Rocky himself, KGF capitalizes on every second. You might feel exhausted by the end, but I doubt you'll feel robbed. And speaking of Rocky, let's talk about the central figure of this series and the actor playing him, rocking star Yash, who has possibly the 2 most bombastic title cards I have ever seen introducing a movie star. In Chapter 1, and then topped in Chapter 2.
Nice. That soundtrack is amazing.
In all the furor over Top Gun Maverick, I've been seeing a lot of people heralding Tom Cruise as our last movie star, but this is a painfully Western perspective. Movie stars are alive and well and plentiful in Indian cinema, and Yash has become one of the biggest in recent years thanks to KGF. Yash is the not-so-secret ingredient that fuels this franchise. He has a...
Let me ask you a question. Do you guys believe that KGF would be as big as it is without Yash? If there was any other actor, do you think it would be so big? Let me know. If any other actor, anyone, was in this role, do you think it would explode? I don't know. It's hard to imagine, but I want you guys to imagine.
Commanding screen presence. And while he's very silly when trying to court Rena in Chapter 1, in most situations, he's a badass one-man wrecking crew in a tailored suit. Rocky is a sort of 20th century Robin Hood by way of Scarface, with a little bit of, I don't know, whoever you thought was the coolest guy growing up. He seems to be a man of the people, but he's also a gangster, but he's also a ladies' man, and a man's man. His cryptic motivations lead you to wonder if he's the messianic figure that people take him for, or if their liberation serves to put him on the throne. But somewhere under his rock-hard facade is the little boy who made a promise to his mother. Chapter 1 sees his rise to power, while Chapter 2 sees him perhaps becoming too powerful for his own good. This all clumps together to mold a most compelling anti-hero. No profile of Rocky is complete without highlighting his grandiose dialogue and Yash's flamboyant delivery.
Nanak flying kiss kodadkinta tab kan muddadade ishta.
Rocky spouts so many nuggets of wisdom and entertaining one-liners that he should have his own quote book.
Hi, I am Jimmy Carter.
Rocky,
I am the CEO of Delver Steel, Texas.
I am also CEO.
Oh, wonderful. Which one?
India.
India.
Honestly, Yash is easily my favorite aspect of these films. That's not to disparage the many other actors involved, they are just eclipsed by his sheer presence, and that is certainly by design. A protagonist like Rocky requires formidable foes, of which there is no shortage across both chapters. The important thing is that everyone here seems to be on the same page, a page written in enormous font, bolded and underlined with lots of exclamation points.
Nive herdage. Avanu gangster alla sar. ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಬಂದು ನುಗ್ಗಿ ಹೊಡೆದಿರೋ ಮೋಸ.
The emotion.
May this guy rest in peace. This actor, he died. At least he managed to finish all his scenes, right? But yeah, that's sad.
ಹೊಡೆದಿರೋ ಮೋಸ.
The emotions here are all very heightened, and everything seems to be a matter of the utmost importance. Alas, this is part of KGF's go big or go home DNA. The intensity of this storytelling extends to the filmmaking itself, especially the film editing, which, as I've pointed out, can be downright unwieldy. Perhaps nothing better exemplifies this than a car chase scene from Chapter 2. This is smashing to black, a technique that is often used in movie trailers and can be an effective choice in the actual film, happens no less than 20 times during this sequence. While it's certainly iconic, the reactions to this scene in particular have been very polarizing.
Some people like it, some people don't. And I am one of those who like it. I really enjoyed the editing. I really liked the creative editing on this one, going to black. I thought it was so... yeah, I don't know. It was like a dose of dopamine. It was nice. It was nice. I like it.
Some people love it. Some people hate it. I even saw somebody attempting to fix it in a fan-made recut. Personally, I wasn't a fan of this car chase solely because of the editing. I just wanted to cheer on an unbroken look of Rocky putting the pedal to the metal and demolishing dudes. While smashing to black in particular isn't used throughout the film, it does demonstrate the style and rhythm of KGF.
What people are not understanding is the problem is not going to black. That's not what is intense about this. What is good about it is the background music coming and going while the editing is going and coming and going as well. So what makes it intense is it keeps you on edge. You don't know what's gonna happen, and the sound coming and going keeps you on edge. It's like vroom, vroom. You know, that's what makes the emotion of the editing, not the going to black, but the song coming and going. That's what made it so, it's like a heartbeat.
The following action scene, which I teased at the beginning of this video, sees Rocky facing off against a platoon of motorcycles, masks, and axes. I think it's a superior sequence and one of the best in the film, but even this has several cutaways. Writer-director Prashant Neel clearly has so much he wants to show and tell.
Wow.
The plotting, the motivations, the consequences, but I think the filmmaking often gets in its own way. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the trail blazed by both of these films. They cover so much ground that the proportions are nothing short of epic. At the end of the day, I suppose I just wanted more balanced portions. While Chapter 2 is certainly more tonally consistent, I actually think I enjoyed my time with Chapter 1 more. That's where we see more of the goofy side of Rocky. Also, the finale and cliffhanger ending of Chapter 1.
The thing that makes, well, here's my opinion. I think KGF Chapter 1 had more story because you saw his character building, his character arc. You saw him as a child, you saw him growing up, you saw his motives, you saw his whole story arc from when he was a very small child to, you know, becoming basically the savior of KGF. However, in Chapter 2, you see how he became the CEO of India. So there is a difference in contrast. Whenever we talk about our childhood, our beginnings, it's a little bit more humbling, let's say. But when we talk about our conquers and our, you know, oh, this is how I became big and great, it's not the underdog story anymore. So it's a story of greatness and it's lavish, you know. So I think it's two different movies, and it depends on people's preferences. So the first movie was more of a underdog, and you see where he came from. And then when you see the second one, you see how far he has come. So I think that's like two different things, and it's really personal because some people like seeing something more extravagant, like KGF 2, which was a blast. Everything on like KGF 2 was like extravagant. They really brought the big guns, you know, and it depends. Do you like story or do you like action? I think KGF Chapter 2 is the king of action. It had everything: helicopters, jet planes. There were tanks even when they were coming after him. Everything, man. Big Mama, Big Papa. There was a ship. There was, everything. Honestly, submarines, maybe.
One, which I will not spoil here, is incredible and will leave you revved up to get to the action of Chapter 2. I watched Chapter 1 on Amazon Prime Video before getting a chance to see Chapter 2 on the big screen. In both cases, I opted for the original Kannada language. As there's often multiple language versions for these Indian blockbusters, my rule of thumb is to seek out the original language whenever possible.
Guys, right now, go, actually after you finish watching my reaction, go to this man's YouTube channel, tell him Teacher Paul sent you, tell him, Producer Reacts or the police, whatever you want to call yourself. Tell him that he did a great video, he made a great video, and that you're there to support him. Whoever supports KGF, has our support as well. And thank you for reacting Kannada original language, Dhanyavada, because, we should always support the original. And also Yash's voice is, something that makes it different as well, makes it unique.
One thing I found fascinating about watching Chapter 1 on Amazon was the anti-smoking and drinking ad that preceded the film. In all my streaming, I had never encountered something like that before, so I have to assume this is more commonplace for India. And it didn't end there. Throughout the entire film, anytime somebody was smoking
that is something that I really enjoyed.
If a bottle of alcohol was present, there would be a disclaimer in the bottom left corner of the screen reading, "Smoking kills" or "Drinking is injurious to health." As a cinephile, I was kind of aghast by the intrusion. It is distracting, even amusing at times, but I guess this is a legal thing you just have to accept. Maybe someone can enlighten me on this subject.
So I haven't looked into it as much, but I think it's a law that should tell you that, the same thing as it goes, like when you buy a drink, it says over there, or when you buy cigarettes, it says over there, it's a disclaimer, because movies are very influential. So it's very easy to influence someone that something is good when, like when you're Rocky and you're smoking or drinking, people want to be like you. So, it's very nice that they have this disclaimer. Is it distracting? At first, maybe I was intrigued also, but I didn't find it to be 100% distracting. I think it's a very nice thing, because it shows responsibility, it shows accountability, and I think it's a very good thing that India does, and I think everybody else should do also. The funny thing is that if this was in Hollywood, they would have to give a disclaimer for drugs, alcohol, smoking, and they would even have to put a disclaimer like I'm not even gonna say it, but they need to give an STD disclaimer because of the amount of, naughty scenes in Hollywood. They have to put an STD, like, protect yourself.
I saw Chapter 2 in theaters back in April when it was still playing in the US. The original Kannada language version was only playing in one theater anywhere near me and had only one showtime at 10:05.
The same thing in London. One screen, one time. That's mind-blowing. Like, even for Scotland, it's a full country and it has one screen. In London, it's very hard. It's very hard, and it's at night even. And it's also, I've shown this in my vlogs. It's in a very secluded area in the cinema. When I went to watch, it was another film that I went to watch. I did I can't remember which one, but I remember they put us in the third floor. We have to go up the stairs in the back of the theater. Bro, it's ridiculous.
a.m. So I drove a half hour on a Tuesday morning to go see it, and I was the only person in the theater. Now, I've been the sole audience member at showings and screenings more times than I can count, but usually that's for indie, documentary, or art house films. It felt surreal seeing this movie alone in the theater while it was shattering box office records on the other side of the world.
No, my experience was different. When I went to watch KGF, it was a full house. It was a full house.
Would have loved to have seen this with a big crowd like I had at my encore screening of RRR, but I'm just glad I was able to see it in the theater at all, because a movie like KGF Chapter 2 and a star like Yash are certainly of cinematic caliber. Sadly, that's no longer an option for those in the US, but both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 are now available on Amazon Prime Video.
Only on Amazon Prime Video.
At the time of its release, KGF Chapter 1 was the most expensive Kannada language film ever made, and the first to release in 5 languages. Appropriately, it became the highest grossing Kannada language film and developed a significant cult following, which explains both the rabid anticipation and eventual audience turnout for Chapter 2, which would go on to take the crowns of most expensive and highest grossing Kannada language film, surpassing Chapter 1's entire box office gross in just 2 days. It is now the second highest grossing Indian film domestically of all time. As the comments on my video for RRR can attest, this film has legions of fans. And while KGF Chapter 2 did not make anywhere near as big a splash as RRR has here in the United States, I suspect many will catch up with it on home media in the months ahead. And they'll probably want to because of Chapter 2's tantalizing mid-credit scene. This had me cheering alone in the theater like an absolute maniac. Despite his sly attempt to assure people that there won't be a part 3 to KGF, Neil will presumably be returning to write and direct Chapter 3, which at this point has to be one of the most anticipated Indian films ever. I know I can't wait, so if you haven't caught up with one of the biggest sensations in Indian cinema, you've got some time and an excellent reason. As I said, they are both available on Amazon Prime Video in their original Kannada language. Have you seen KGF Chapter 1 and Chapter 2? What do you think of these films, and which do you prefer? Also, do you think these are the best films that Sandalwood has to offer? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you down there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Cineflect for video essays, film lists, and more.
I got this!
And click that bell next to the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. For Cineflect, I'm JS Lewis. Until next time, watch something good.
Guys, I really enjoyed what he has done with this video. What did you guys think? Now, let me tell you one thing. This man has made 2 videos on India, RRR, and also he has done KGF. So what should we do now? We should go comment on his video, and tell him that he should make more Indian film reviews. That's how you get foreigners, you get Americans, you get people to get interested, because we want more people interested in supporting Indian films. So go to his video, support him, give him a like for his video, for his hard work, and tell him, look, we enjoy your content, make more, and motivate him to make more videos for India. And that's how you guys are gonna get more people interested, And also, let's make this video one of the most viewed of his channel. That's how you get guys to, react to more or make more movies or videos on India. His channel's name is Cineflect. I'm gonna leave it in the comments and in the description. So guys, that was nice. Go support him, because his editing is amazing, his narration is great, and he did a great job. So we gotta go support him. Okay, the link will be in the description. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next video, guys. Take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye. See you soon.